Okay, folks, I haven't been live in, I don't know, a couple years. I never really liked doing them in the past, but for some reason I just got motivated to go and do a live video. I want to talk about some things that really been bugging me. And I figured that I use this platform. I'm in my car. Let me open the window and get some fresh air. I figure I want to use this platform to try to reach out to some people and express what I am feeling right now in this particular day and time that I'm living in, all right, to lack better words. But what am I talking about? I put a post out there, I believe it was yesterday or today, something about Bad Bunny saying something about we're upset that he's speaking Spanish for the Super Bowl, but Puerto Ricans, you didn't mind when Puerto Ricans who speak Spanish shed their blood and died for the wars of this country, something like that. You can check it out on my profile if you want. I can't remember exactly what it said, but it said something like that. And I got some feedback, most of it positive, and I got some negative feedback from especially one individual who really didn't like Bad Bunny, who really didn't like the post and was going off on it. And I didn't want to spend my time going and answering back and forth, because he's one of these individuals that will continue, doesn't stop. And you can spend all day, and I have a life. I'm not going to be on Facebook arguing with somebody. That's not the purpose that I get on social media. When I try to get on social media, I try to, do positive things. I do pictures of my family. I just did one of my vacation that I just came back from Puerto Rico. I try to do causes. Sometimes I share a lot of funny memes, a lot of funny stuff. But it really upset me because the idea that somebody is going to be upset that an American who really only speaks Spanish fluently and English, broken English, who performs in Spanish, people upset because he's going to perform in Spanish during the Super Bowl. Like, get over yourself, folks. I mean, as much as you like to think about it, English is not really the official language of the United States, even though everybody speaks English in the United States. And you probably say that's an oxymoron. It doesn't make no sense. But think about it. The United States never officially made the English language the official language of the United States, even though everybody speaks it. So in Puerto Rico, their official language is Spanish. So if you have a performer from Puerto Rico who doesn't really speak English, what you expect them to perform in German and Russian? No, in Spanish. All right? And most of this thing is really deal on racism. And I just spell it out to you. Latinos always been hounded by people say, learn English, learn English, learn English. Okay? So now when Bad Bunny goes on Saturday Night Live and he does his spill a little bit in English, in broken English, and then he starts speaking in Spanish, and he tells the audience, I know you didn't understand what I said, but you got 4 months to learn. He just did it as a joke, but I think he put it right back to everybody. All right? United States is a melting pot of many cultures, all right, of all nationalities, of all religions, and that's what makes us great. That's what makes America great, okay? Not what Donald Trump professes. And you know something? I don't like to talk about politics on social media. Have I shared some stuff that are politically oriented? Yes, I have. I don't like it. I don't like to share religious stuff, even though I am a born-again Christian. I don't feel that it's productive if I do something like that, because all it does is causes conflict. It causes arguments like this particular post did. But hey, I really don't care now. I have to express what I feel. I don't like what's going on. I don't like to see troops in our cities, okay? I don't like the fact that he only picks on Democratic states and says that the crime wave is high. Meanwhile, it's been proven that a lot of these red states, there is more crime in the red states than in the blue states. How come he's not sending National Guard there? It's all hypocritical. It's all political. I've even done a few YouTube videos talking about that particular subject. Okay, you vote for this man. All he does is terrorize immigrants, and he claims that he wants to deport criminals, and I am all for that. Deport all these gangbangers, deport all these people that are stone cold criminals. But now he's just deporting working class immigrants who are actually documented but haven't gotten the U.S. citizenship. Folks, it takes years for citizenship to be approved. It's not an overnight thing. It's not like going to a motor vehicle and says, okay, I want to apply for citizenship, and boom, it's stamped here, here's your citizenship. It doesn't work that way. It takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of years, and it takes a long time for an immigrant who does the right thing and does the paperwork to become a U.S. citizen. But they're picking them up, they're disappearing them, they're beating the crap out of them. Come on, they're separating families, and you voted for that? You voted for that? Now, meanwhile, Donald Trump wants to sign, what do you call it, the Insurrection Act. So he has an excuse to send National Guard and active duty personnel to whatever city he pleases, most like blue states, of course. Okay, what was that at Capitol 6 on January 6th on the Capitol? Wasn't that an insurrection? Whatever happened to the National Guard then? That was an insurrection. That was a betrayal to this country. They actually attacked our capital. That's the same thing that North Koreans would do, the Chinese army would do, and the Russian army would do, and MAGA would do. Attack our own capital. That is an insurrection. That is a betrayal to our country. Folks, I'm getting emotional. Maybe I'm getting passionate. Whatever it is, man, that's the way I feel right now. That's the way I feel right now, because this is just a bunch of freaking fucking bullshit what's going on in this country. I fought for this country. I served over 20 years in the U.S. Army. I fought in Vietnam. Okay? We were all brothers. There was no such shit about bipartisan politics while we were there. He got us all these generals and all these sergeant majors, and he puts them in one freaking room. I mean, that is a perfect target for our enemy. Are you stupid? Okay? Are you stupid putting all that leadership there in one room at one time? And then he expects an applause. The reason those generals and sergeant majors did not applaud, because once they do that, then they're showing that they are no longer bipartisan. They are showing that they believe in what he's saying. They will obey his orders because they're supposed to. But what they are doing, if they applaud, people will portray that as they are part of the MAGA movement. All right? Because they're applauding what he said, which was a bunch of crap. Him and Heck said was a bunch of stupidity. Okay? They are not going to do that. They will not go and say, now when they go home, and they talk to their wives and they talk to their friends, of course they have their own political views. But in front of their men, in front of their command, they are not allowed to pick a side. Okay? That is the military mentality, and that's the way it should be. Now, I'm upset because this dude keeps saying about Bad Bunny that he's a nationalist and he's part of the independent movement, that he hates America. He talks about ICE. You know what? Fuck ICE. Yeah, talk about ICE. But you know what? He has the freedom of speech to feel what he wants to feel. Okay? Just like I will support you if you want to fly your Confederate flag. You know why? Because I believe in the Constitution. I believe in your freedom of speech to do that. Okay? Now, if he wants to speak in Spanish, because, hey, what else is he going to sing in? Okay? That's what made him famous. I support his freedom of speech to do that. I remember people telling me, hey, speak English when they catch me speaking Spanish. You know what I told them? Mind your freaking business. I'm not talking to you. If I was talking to you, I'll speak to you in English. I says, it is my right, my constitutional right, to speak whatever language I want. But then now, in the climate that we live in, I even doubt that. I can't believe that the Supreme Court actually approved that ICE can detain someone for speaking Spanish. ICE can actually detain me because my color's a little brown. ICE can detain someone because they work in a place that has low wages. Really? Is that the America you want to live in? Is that the America you want? You want troops patrolling your cities every single day? You want your Latino or brown people to be picked up just because they're brown? Or just because they're speaking in Spanish? You know, it's ironic. I just came from Puerto Rico. And ICE is in Puerto Rico too, doing their so-called job. They're detaining illegal immigrants, and that's their job. But you think they're going to follow that rule in Puerto Rico about if they catch somebody speaking Spanish, they're going to detain them? They won't have to detain all 3 million Puerto Ricans in the island because they all speak Spanish. ICE in Puerto Rico said, that's the bullshit. We can't do that here. But in the United States, you could get away with it. Okay? And that, to me, is not the America that I fought for. That is not the America that I believed in. That if I decide to speak Spanish, I could be detained. I would not live in fear. And I am so upset that my family, my wife, and my daughters are afraid. They always tell me constantly, Dad, please, you know, because they know my temper. They know my passion. And they said, Dad, please, if ICE approaches you, don't argue with them. Don't speak Spanish to them. Fuck that. That is my freedom of speech. I can speak whatever language I want to. Okay? I didn't fight for this country and for this Constitution for some asshole, racist asshole, tell me I can't speak Spanish. And as soon as he catches me, he's going to detain me, whether I'm a U.S. citizen or a veteran or not. No, man, that's not the America that I fought for. That's not the America that I believe in. If that's your America, then this is not really America. This is North Korea. This is communist China. This is Russia. That's what he wants. He wants to be a dictator. Okay? You know what? Well, you know what you should be talking about? You should be talking about Bad Bunny. You should be talking about Epstein files. Okay? That's what you should be talking about. The Epstein files. But meanwhile, you support this pedophile, all right, as president. And here I am talking politics. I don't care. And you know what? I got over 2,500 followers. Why? Because I monetize my Facebook channel. Because I have a little side hustle that I try to promote, and hopefully I can make a little bit of money, because we live in a time that your paycheck just doesn't cut it. So I have to do a little side hustle to see if I can make it. That's how bad things are. Things are going to get worse. You know? And I don't care if you unfollow me, you unfriend me. I hope that later on, when I check today and tomorrow, that my following, the numbers actually go down. Because then, you know what? Bye-bye. I didn't need you to follow me. Okay? I didn't need you to be my friend. If you support that pedophile, if you support that draft dodger, if you support that criminal, if you support that non-Christian who he claims he's a Christian, he doesn't even know how to hold a Bible, he holds it upside down. If you support that man, there's something wrong with you. Because this country is going to shit. All right? That's what you voted for? Then, hey, unfriend me. Who cares? Anyway, I ranted. I'm sorry. But I just feel passionate about this. And it is what it is. I'm going to calm myself down, you know. And, hey, it is what it is. So, let me go turn this live off. And God bless you, everybody. And, with a lot of love. God bless.